Okay. Let me get. Ah! Hi, Patri. How are you? Just gonna wait for everybody else to come on in. Let's see. Let me admit everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, Shamika. Hi, Natalie. So excited for y'all to be here.
Hi.
Just waiting for a little bit more people.
Hello. Hold on.
A little bit more people.
Oh, there we go.
No, yeah.
Hi,
no.
Flo.
Hello, it's so good to meet you. It's so nice to put a face to a name.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too.
Everybody, and I like your background too. It's really cute.
Thanks.
So yeah, we're just waiting for everybody. While we actually wait for people to come in, if you guys want to introduce yourself, Natalie, if you want to go first and just tell us who you are, what you do, and what you hope to get out of this 5-day pitching challenge.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Natalie and I'm a branding photographer. So yeah, I work with a lot of different brands and I shoot fashion and headshots and products. So yeah, I just restarted my business about 2 months ago and it's already like getting a lot of momentum.
Awesome.
And so I just want to learn, how to really target like bigger brands that maybe need like photography and just how to pitch my photography better and get more jobs.
I love that. And what brands have you already worked with? Just name drop a couple of them because I know that you have really great clients.
Yeah, so I partner with San Francisco Fashion Festival. So I shoot runway fashion for them and work with like a few different designers. And I just did a photo shoot for the W Hotel in San Francisco.
Oh, that's so cool. That's amazing.
Yeah. And just like a bunch of like beauty products that I work with some other like influencers, I guess, that have products or that I don't know. Yeah, just like beauty
I
products.
see what you're saying. So you shoot product photography for influencers? Is that what you said? Is that what you mean? Kind of?
I shoot product photography and influencers kind of like bridge
I like that.
The client to me, I guess.
I love that. That's awesome. And that's a great way to get clients too. So great job.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Oh, it's wonderful to meet you, Natalie. Anybody else want to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
So hi, do you hear me?
Hi.
I'm Patri. I'm basically a content creator and photographer, now videographer also nowadays. Yeah, I think that's all. I shoot for beauty brands mostly, skincare, makeup. Yeah.
Patri, you should tell us where you're from.
I'm from Poland in Europe.
Poland!
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I have a really good friend here in Atlanta. She's actually Polish. I don't know if you know her. Her name is Adriana.
Yes, I know her.
Oh, yes. I just went to her house a couple weeks ago.
I mean, I don't know her personally, but but we speak on Instagram from time to time.
I love that.
Yeah,
she just
so
made
sweet.
a really good Polish soup that I had to get the recipe for. It had meatballs and like radish and leeks, and it was so good. And I was like, yeah, we have to make this at home. And when I say I have to make this at home, I mean my husband has to make it because I don't cook. So.
Oh. Okay.
But thank you for introducing yourself. Anybody else? Anybody want to introduce yourself? We'll get started in a little bit. Just wanted to give you guys a chance to know each other.
Hi, I'm Shamika. I reside in Houston, Texas. I don't know what to say other than I am using the word that I was given last week for 2025, well, 2024. And it's acceleration, meaning I have already pushed my foot on the gas pedal, but I'm trying to speed, not like go a little bit more, not hitting the brake. I am wanting to work with brands. I work with a brand right now, but I know that there's more out there, and I know that basically, long story short, I'm ready to just jump into the weeds and do the work. Stop making excuses for myself and actually do the things that I put on my mood board back in 2022.
I
And
love
that's
that.
including things such as doing long form content as well. I did invest in a new camera for my vlogs that I would like to do. So it's coming in the mail this week, but also doing short form content and just working with brands that align with who I am and not just staying in a box.
Hmm.
So
Love that for you. I think that's so important too. I think that obviously everybody has their own basis. You know, some people want to stay in a specific niche, but if you want to branch out, if you want to get into more things, I think that personally, that's something that I did a couple years ago. And I used to, for those who don't know me, I feel like a lot of you do know me, but for those who don't know me, I've been in the industry for almost 10 years, started primarily in natural hair and skincare. And then I worked on the brand side for several years with two brands. One brand that was a major skincare brand. And then another is a beauty brand here locally in Atlanta. It's called Moisture Love. Shout out to Janelle, the CEO. She gave me my first PR and marketing job where I did a ton of activations for influencers. And then I worked with Herbivore for 2 years, where we did a lot of consulting back and forth because of my history and because of the way that I understood the industry for skincare. I worked with them for 2 years, specifically for their influencer campaigns, did a whole bunch of gifting and activations with them, as well as kind of bringing them into 2022. This was right in the kind of height of Black Lives Matter. So they had a lot of DEI that needed to kind of get into the into 2022 at that time. So it was really enriching. And then from there, this is just what I love to do. I think that I always get to say this. I always say this to my husband, is that I get to get paid to be myself, you know, things that I'm interested in, I get to kind of vouch for, and I get to kind of showcase my skills. And that's what I want for you guys. I want you guys to get into that space to where you feel confident in pitching, in getting to a space to where you are able to make not only the income that you want, but maybe move from a tax bracket that you're currently in, right? People often say, I just want to sustain my life, but I don't want to just sustain my life. I actually want to move into a place where I haven't been before. And as a person that grew up in poverty, I believe in that, right? So I want you guys to be there too. I see Sabrina just popped in. Kendra, I think you're in too, Sabrina. Did you mean to do that?
Yes, I'm also on my phone. Sorry,
Oh,
I am.
Hey.
I am. My daughter just. Can you hear me twice, or is it okay?
See, no, you're good. I was like, wait, did we mean to do that? Yeah.
I was just putting my daughter to nap in her room, and so I joined from my phone, and then I joined from my computer, but just in case I needed to pop back, I just wanted to still keep. I'm sorry.
Got it. No, you're good. I was just curious. I was like, wait, I didn't know if that you like, oh, hey, you want to turn off your phone or your camera, but no, that's totally fine. We're doing quick introductions and we're going to go into the lesson. Do you want to introduce yourself today?
Sure. Yeah. Hi, I'm Sabrina Malu. I have been a creator for about 13, going on 14 years. I started with my blog, and it's kind of, I actually still operate my blog. It's still updated at least weekly, if not more. And I also have a newsletter. I have a free newsletter. I also have a paid newsletter. And then I also have social channels. So right now, in my stage of life and in my stage of business, I feel like I've kind of grown up with the industry, but the industry has changed a lot. And I actually had gotten a manager back in 2021 when my inbox was kind of just overflowing and I couldn't really handle it anymore. I also had my daughter, and it just, I don't feel like they nurtured the relationships as much as kind of I would have, and I almost feel like it was alienating. So I kind of decided it wasn't going to good fit, and then kind of rebounding from that manager relationship is really bringing those relationships back to me. And so my goals with this workshop are really just to pitch myself in a way, like I'm a more seasoned creator, and so I want to make sure I'm getting the value that I want, but also that like brands that I want to work with. I know someone else had mentioned this, like I want to work with the brands that I want to work with. I am in a beauty space, but I'm also in a lifestyle space. And so I talk about brands all the time, and I'm very brand agnostic. So there's so many options for who I can work with. I want to be working with the brands that I love and that I truly want to vouch for versus ones that just end up in my inbox. So how do I get more brand visibility? How do I get them to open my pitches is really big. And then how do I distinguish myself? Because you'd be surprised. You think like the higher the follower count, the like brands magically pop into your inbox, but it really doesn't work that way.
Mhm. And that's a lesson for people who are kind of have that, because I feel like some people that are in here, Sabrina, have that feeling of, oh, I'm going to wait till I get to 5K, 10K, 20K till I start reaching out. And it's like, that's not really, especially now that that's like a small sliver of what brands look for now, right? They look as for alignment. They look for what you're actually talking about in terms of your demographics and who you're talking to. So there's so many different things that they're looking for, and everything that you mentioned of what you want, you're gonna get for this 5 days. So I'm really excited. And I want to. There's one other person. I'll do one more introduction, and then we'll start. Kendra, did you want to introduce yourself? Hello. I see.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even know if you can see me because something's going on with my camera.
Okay.
But I'll be quick so that you can get started. So my name is Kendra Joseph. I'm actually a healthcare provider in the beauty space. I work in dermatology. And so similar or a little bit similar to Sabrina, I get gifted products all the time because of what I do, because I make recommendations to my patients in addition to their medical skincare routine. We also have like, complementary or products that should complement the overall routine. And a lot of my peers and colleagues on social media are getting paid brand partnerships. And I feel like the content that I produce is of value. So I also want to be in the pool of selection in terms of getting paid partnerships. And I know, Flo, you have obviously large expertise. I think you just posted one brand, Natorium, that you worked with recently. So that's just like one of the brands that I hope to work with in the future. You mentioned something about like the follower count. So I am one of those people. I don't have a very large following. So I'm not sure where I fit into this space, but hopefully through the workshop, I'll get more, information on if this is something that's reachable with what I have going on right now, or if I need to do a bit more work.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that is spot on. And actually, you know what, just to touch on it, I think anybody with any type of follower account can work with brands. Specifically for you, Kendra, in the industry, you're called a professional creator. You have a expertise in a specific field where people want to know that because they have more vouching in terms of trust for you. And a lot of beauty brands, I think, even Naturium would love to work with hand in hand with a dermatologist and showcase their products to a specific, like again, targeted demographic, and even for specific concerns. They partner with tons of different dermatologists for if it's a vitamin C, they partner with a specific dermatologist. If it's a hyperpigmentation specific treatment, we'll talk more about that. But I just know that you do have leverage here. So, and you do have positioning here. So we're going to get started. I am going to share my screen. I have this humongous doc that I wanted to share with you guys because we are going to talk about my map positioning process, right? This is the way that for the past couple of years, I've noticed through not only with my pitching, but with clients that I work with on a one-on-one basis through my membership, through group coaching, that I have seen like, this is what's going on. I have a really high click-through rate with all of my pitches. It's about 65%. If I pitch 10 brands, I'm going to get back 6 or 7. So this is something that I just tried and true through time, through being in the industry and just knowing what to look out for. And if I'm being honest, I pretty much cheated because I have had the professional standpoint of going in and working with brands. So not just coming and doing the work as an influencer, but also having that back end work with brand acknowledgement through the jobs that I've had. So this is going to be something that I feel like could be really beneficial for a lot of you. We're going to go ahead and pull up my Canva. And for this portion, I'm going to be talking a lot. You guys can feel free to enter anything in the chat. Something I always like to say when I do my coaching is, as I'm talking, if you feel like you have a nugget or feel like this is something good, I like people to just put the word nodding, like, okay, I got it, Flo. So I'm not just talking in silence, but then at the end, we could totally talk and kind of unpack some certain things and then go from there. So let me pull up my screen. Okay. So the MAP pitching process, this is something that has been, again, just very instrumental in the things that I have done for the past couple of years. And the first part of this, when people think about a pitch, unfortunately, there are these situations where a lot of creators kind of get into a space to where they are consistently talking about themselves. I do this. This is my follower account. This is what I expect from you when I'm pitching you. This is what I want. And from that, a lot of brands just nowadays, they don't really like that, right? That's not something they have. What my mom likes to say that they don't know you from Adam, right? You can be posting about them all day long, but there are levels to our industry, right? When you're posting, the person that's most likely going to see that is the community manager. That community manager has no idea, like, any type of adjustments with budgets. They're not going to be looking at higher ups and saying, this is the person. They have no control. So there is this area that I want, even if you are looking at this now, I want you to kind of understand that you want to kind of move from the I statements in your pitches to more so of a we or they kind of statements, right? And the first thing that I want you to do when you're looking at your pitching is to ask yourself, what in this pitch am I bringing to the brand that's actually going to be meaningful? And this is where the big guns kind of come in. And this is where a lot of problems a lot of creators have is that they are not doing the research, right? They are kind of coming from a place to where I like this, I want to pitch them for that, and that's it. And I'm going to see what they say. And then they get upset because brands aren't actually commenting or emailing them back. And it's because you don't have the framework of what is actually going to intrigue a brand for them, number one, to open up the email, but then also respond because something that you said actually triggered something for them. So in this, I'm actually going to give you guys kind of a scenario. I picked NYX because NYX has kind of been all over the place recently with, you know, their Super Bowl ad. And I just think that NYX is just a good brand. And as y'all know, a lot of us actually are really kind of into beauty. So it's a beauty brand, right? So I think that it's really important when you're starting out with research is Google can be the first basis of this. And what you want to actually do is type in the brand name and press release. And what this is going to do is give you all the relevant information that brand wants the public and you to know, right? This is stuff that they care about. This is stuff that's going to resonate with them. This is stuff that's meaningful to them because they're putting it out there in the open. And as I type this in, I put this in here. The things that are super important to NYX at this time is their ad that they had at the Super Bowl, and it's kind of revealing their plump gloss. And what was really good about this particular thing is that they gave such great information for a person to pitch NYX, right? They said it that in 2024, it's their 25th year of beauty. As I stated already, that they had a Super Bowl commercial with Cardi B, revealing a new shade of their iconic lip gloss. And if you didn't know, NYX is actually the #1 brand in America for lip gloss for a specific demographic, which is Gen Z. I got all that information from one press release, okay? Why is this relevant? Why is this meaningful? Because all of this information can tie into the pitch that you're gonna pitch to NYX if you decided to, right? And then just FYI, if you guys didn't know, if you guys did watch the Super Bowl, they actually cut off a portion of the video because unfortunately, I guess it was just too raunchy for online television. They're like, no, we got to cut it. So most of the views for this ad was actually online, like on YouTube. So again, if you guys are thinking, if you guys ever want to pitch NYX, this could be something that you can kind of tag in, kind of like in the know information, because again, you did your research, right? And when you're kind of utilizing this information, again, this is going to give you an angle in your pitch that's different. What's okay, looking at the before and after. Hi, my name is so-and-so, love your brand. This is the lip gloss that I really like. My followers would love this. Can you send this to me? Or can you pay me for a video? I think that would be good. Versus, hey, I understand that your demographic that you're actually targeting right now is Gen Z, and a lot of them actually are surfaced a lot on TikTok. I think that a really good angle that we can actually work together with is revealing your your cherry spice lip gloss to all different skin tones, right? I noticed on your Instagram that you actually don't have a lot of people of color or something of that nature, right? You're kind of angling it to a fact that that's something that they're interested in, or vice versa, even from those two sentences, right? Hey, Nyx, happy 25th anniversary of beauty. I actually am interested in revealing some really great ideas to you that could actually make an even bigger celebration for you in the 25 years, and then listing out your ideas. So again, looking at research to see what the specific angle is for your pitch is going to be way better than talking about yourself and saying, I am this is my following, this is how many people that I have, because truly, honestly, they don't care. They care about what their actual marketing goals are and how you can be the person to help them get to that place, okay? More, because there's more stuff, right? That's only one portion, right? When you're thinking about research, press releases are great, but it's not the only area that you can go to. So the next area that you can actually go to is going back to their Instagram, TikTok, all their, I mean, I said Instagram and TikTok here, but their blog posts, their previous newsletters, all and their previous campaigns that they've worked on and the previous influencers that they've worked with. That information is going to give you knowledge and nuggets about how you can actually pitch them in a different way as well, but make it relevant to the current year. So again, sticking with Nyx, I went back onto Nyx's, Nyx's Instagram, right? And I went back to May. I went back to May specifically because May is around 6 weeks from now. That is prime time. Right now is prime time to start pitching May and like more springtime, like relevant pitches, right? And they did a whole slew of campaigns associated with Coachella and like festival content. So if I were a creator who liked Nyx and wanted to pitch them, I would actually ask that question and pose that question to them in the pitch. So I could say, hey, I actually went back to your Instagram feed in 2023 and saw that you were promoting a ton of things for Coachella. I think that I would actually love to create a specific makeup look for, that particular festival. Is this something that you would like to do? I also kind of like maybe even change the angle as well. So maybe you're one of those creators that can't go to Coachella, right? Maybe you pitch a very interesting idea for them where you make like Coachella at home, right? And invite all your girlfriends. It can be an actual story as opposed to you just making a makeup look. So here's another thing that a lot of creators do. They kind of get into this place to where they kind of stick with cookie cutter deliverables, and brands don't like that, right? They want to be sometimes the first to do something or to have something viral. And when you have really good, interesting ideas, that's going to make them want to actually reply to you, right? Not a lot of people are going to think to create their own Coachella at home and invite their girlfriends and maybe like actually have a themed idea. And this could be an idea that Nyx has actually maybe want to actually do and pursue, as opposed to just saying, hey, I'd like to create one video for you to post on your feed, right? There's just some extra effort there that you're utilizing with that research that you can actually do that's actually going to pull the trigger for them. I got some things in the chat. Let me check them out really quick. Okay. Sabrina said, is there a fear that the brand would take your idea or execute without you? That's a great question. Let me actually talk about that. So I have often thought about that way too, Sabrina. I kind of like, oh, I'll just tell them I have ideas and let me get them on the phone. And what I found is that brands are oftentimes too lazy and they don't have the manpower at their industry or at their organizations to actually execute on those ideas. I personally have never had that happen to me. Now, because it hasn't happened to me, is that like the end all be all? Absolutely not. I've definitely heard maybe like some creators say like, yeah, they utilized my ideas, but then they kind of capitalized on it by number one, getting paid for the idea and just doing a better job because they actually approached them and wanted to follow up with them and repost that content, or kind of just taking the chance. And I know that sometimes it can kind of be uneasy, but taking the chance and just showing out your ideas, because as I said, top of this, brands don't have enough manpower to execute on these ideas. And that's why they're working with influencers in the first place. They just don't have people to churn out these ideas and do it for themselves enough, right? So that's my thought process on it.
I think the question, so I think I haven't personally had it happen to me, but I've had some friends who like they've sent 3 ideas and then they were not casted, but then like 8 weeks later they saw a bunch of other influencers who were hired to do festival makeup in your city, which like that's why like there's just been conflicting evidence, at least that I've seen, or sorry, a conflicting advice that has been like give them like a high level overview, but don't give them like your specific ideas because you want to elaborate on how. That's why I was just kind of asking about your take and your.
I mean, I can't be one-sided, right? I can't say like, oh, don't worry about it. I totally have, just as you had said, you've had experience. I've had clients have had experiences like that and it just didn't go well. And that kind of hurts your ego, right? It kind of messes you up. It's like, I don't even want to be in the space to pitch because if my ideas are taken, that sucks, right? But the thing that I like to say, and this, again, I'm an optimist at heart, we are creators. We have billions of ideas in our head. Sure, they can take that idea, but another brand can see this and be like, hey, let's work on this. Let's move forward with this. And it's just one of those things that I feel like we just have to kind of take that chance to develop those relationships with brands who actually want to work with us and who aren't going to take our ideas. So for me, it's like the latter of looking at it from a sense of putting yourself out there, getting to know these brands. As all of you guys said, you don't want to sit on your hands. You want to make sure that you're making these efforts to work with them. And in the meantime, growing that relationship because they see that you are working with them and trying to find those ideas or trying to give value in those ways. And one of the best ways is to give them ideas because a lot of brands just half the time don't know what they're doing, right? So that's my take. But again, use your own discernment in some of these cases. Maybe you don't want to give a full-fledged idea, but maybe give a title of it and say, I'd like to create one reel based off of this. And then on the back end, say, I like to flesh out these ideas on a call. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Do you usually give like multiple?
I personally do. Yeah, I give 3. I like to give 3 ideas. Or if it's a more high level kind of idea, I'll give 1 and then go into the pitch and say, hey, like, I'd love to, schedule a call with you to kind of flesh out this idea and introduce myself fully.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, I got another question. Let me pause real quick. Shamika said, have you had a brand take your, so y'all kind of had that same question. So personally for me, no, I have not. And like I said, it's because of that kind of thought process of brands are out here not posting as much. Y'all see it all the time. They take 2 weeks to post. They're reposting content that is super old or just isn't really the vibe of what social platform that they have. And some of these brands are really struggling and they don't know what they're doing. So sure, you can give them that idea. I know in some cases, yes, they will take it, but in most cases, they're just way too lazy to execute. And that's why we kind of come in and kind of get to utilize that for them and kind of help them out in that space. So that's my thought process on it. Let me move forward really quick and then keep the questions coming. I love that you guys asked that because that was a very relevant thing to say. Okay, so again, based off of research, right? Another example that I had from NYX is actually in June. June is Pride Month. They have a huge, had a huge campaign last year all about Pride Month and safety for gamers that are specifically LGBTQ+, right? So found that evidence of finding that is this reel right here. And that's something that any person that is interested in this particular thing can pitch. When you're doing research too, here's another tip. All the fun little holidays that maybe not a lot of people pay attention to, but brands really pay attention to is something that you should pitch. So for me, I am a sustainable creator. So I always document my sustainability journey. The past couple of weeks, my focus has been on Earth Month, which is in April. And I'm already now continuing those relationships and getting on campaigns because I started a couple weeks ago because of that particular holiday, right? So for you, think about the relevant holidays for your niche, right? I know a lot of you are in fitness, photography, a lot of you guys are in beauty. So there are particular ones that kind of stand out for us that I want you to pay attention to when you're pitching because brands love to participate in those ideas and kind of get the excitement on in real life and also online, right? I got another question. Let me see. Kendra said, have you had any brands give you their idea to execute? Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. That's what most of the time that's what it is with campaigns, Kendra. They will have a specific idea for a particular influencer or group of influencers to actually execute on and put toward either their social platforms, so the brands, or for your social platforms, so they can be a part of your community and kind of get within your community, so they can utilize them in terms of maybe getting them to purchase a particular product or just get their eyeballs on them because they might be a brand that is adding more brand awareness and they just want some more people to know about them. So that's most of the time if a brand is pitching you, or what in the industry is called inbound, they will have an idea fleshed out for you just like that. So in this case, for this one that I just showcased, this is something that NYX actually created with their creative team for the LGBT community for Pride Month. And within, you'll see in a little bit, I gave an example of what this would look like in a full-fledged pitch, a repitch to them. But this is, again, another example. So let's go back, right? Research, brand name, press release, kind of, top level thing. More research, going into their actual feeds, their TikToks, their Instagrams, their newsletters, their blog posts, seeing the things that are important to them and tying it back into your pitch, right? The next place are two places. It's podcasts and LinkedIn, okay? This is something that I don't think that enough creators look at because a lot of brands are talking on podcasts, right? And here's just a little bit of what I found last week from NYX, right? These are all podcasts that have been sponsored by NYX to talk about a particular product or just a brand in general, right? They're all different industries too, right? Some of them are just chatty podcasts. Some of them are relationship podcasts. Some of them are beauty podcasts specifically, but they all sponsored them, right? And that kind of lets you know that there is a in even for podcasters, right? Or this is just another like research thing that you could do. Maybe they're looking at a specific product. And a lot of these you'll see NYX Cosmetics Pro Fix Stick Concealer, right? Pro Fix Stick Concealer, Pro Fix Stick Concealer, right? So that could be an angle that you look at and tell NYX, like, hey, I saw recently in January that you were really promoting your Pro Fix Stick in a lot of podcasts, but I don't see a lot of that for your socials. Okay. And then you can kind of like, again, add that research back and say, hey, I think that would be really cool to not only do it for podcasts, but also give people a visual of what a before and after would look like for these stick concealers. I could even take photos for you and you can add them to refresh them for your product pages on your website. So it kind of just builds upon itself. And you can kind of utilize and see like all the different frameworks, all the different abilities and skills that you have, not only with video, with photography, with marketing through your funnel, which is your actual platforms on social or your blog or your newsletter, all of those things can be attached. Again, based off of what this one research that you did in a podcast aspect. I think this is Apple Podcast, right? Let me see. Got some more questions. Ooh, okay. Sabrina said, is it hard to align your pitches with press releases or active partnerships since those items were probably on the last quarter to promote? How do you know what products to prioritize coming up since you don't know what the campaign pipeline is? Big brands usually plan campaigns and launches prevalent. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Now, again, when you're thinking of pitches, this is the part that I want you guys to understand. Alignment to a particular thing is just to let them know, first and foremost, I'm a fan. So this is the part that I think a lot of people kind of get wrong. The I'm a fan part goes to, I like you, this is what I use, this is my platform, as opposed to the research of what they're doing already. Loved your Super Bowl lineup with Cardi B. I also saw that it actually got cut. Remember that little part that I told you that it actually didn't get fully cut? They're going to see, and you'd see that, okay, whoa, Sabrina did her research. I love that she did that because that is something that actually happened. So even beyond them having a previous campaign, you're not specifically just coming at them and just telling them, hey, this is what I want to do. It's an idea. And what happens usually is a brand will say, okay, yeah, we love these ideas. Let's get on a call. They're just going to kind of get to know you. And then for their next campaign, or if they have UGC opportunities, they'll then pin you for that. then that's the thing about ideas. It's like, okay, you can have all these great ideas. The brand will typically always have something in lockstep or something coming up that you can do. And the reason for a pitch, again, building that relationship and intercepting whatever experience that they're having right now, so you could be top of mind for that next campaign. So that's why I say, like, okay, you can have these ideas, but again, as you just said, a lot of brands have their marketing kind of, now with COVID, it's not usually not 6 months ahead anymore. It's usually like a quarterly or a month to month type of thing nowadays. They'll have their bigger, like broader kind of 12-month plan, but typically it's not something that they're fleshed out fully. So this is the time that you're just kind of, again, intercepting them, pinging them, letting them know, hey, keep me top of mind. I am a research professional creator. These are the ideas I have. Imagine working with me based off of the ideas I have and off of my professionalism, pitching you this way, right? Because trust me, I was just consulting with a brand, and one of their top complaints is that the pitches are horrible. They're not good at all. So when I say that your research is just going to showcase that you did the work and that you are a professional creator, that's going to stand out to them, because these other pitches are they're just not good, right? They're just not good. So that's why the research is so important, because you're just going to showcase that you're a true fan, you truly know this brand. It's not a pitch that you just took, copied and pasted. It's something that you actually took the time to research and then have a good creative idea to present to them. So if that makes sense. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, we talked about researching a podcast, right? This is also too, you can type in the name and look at specific sponsors. You can also, what's really good about podcasts is that a lot of founders or marketing professionals go onto podcasts, and you can kind of get a little bit more information from them, right? A lot of the podcast hosts will ask them questions and they'll be like, oh yeah, next season we're focused on this. You can take that particular thing and add it into your pitch. Hey, I was just listening to the Happy Hour podcast where the host, Maddie, asked you a question about what you're looking forward to in the future. And I noticed that you talked about, I don't know, whatever product. I'd love to know what the timeline is or the time horizon is on that particular product. Is there space and opportunity to chat with you to talk further about that and how I can help, right? So just adding those little pieces, those little, what I like to call breadcrumbs that brands leave out in their, like I said, podcasts, their newsletters, their LinkedIn, so you can get in and get on the phone, as we talked about. All you need to do is get them to pay attention to this pitch, and then move forward and get on that call, because the call is where you sell. You can show your personality. You can show even more like what you've done and all the accomplishments you've done and how you guys can really join like forces. But yeah, this pitch is just really targeting them, getting them to see the breadcrumbs, like, oh wait, she knows this, she knows this, she knows this. Let's get on the call. Like nobody else does that, right? And that's what I want you guys to kind of see from these aspects in the research that you do. Okay, and then lastly, LinkedIn posts. LinkedIn posts are great too, because again, just like I talked about with founders and different directors, LinkedIn posts are great too, because they're going to showcase to you what a brand is thinking about, like right then and there. A lot of the times you will see on LinkedIn that they'll say from a few hours ago, from a few days ago, from this month, and then you can kind of see like what these people are talking about. A lot of the times founders or directors will add in articles that they're interested in or articles that they were featured in that can give you a little bit more research. Or if they had a quote that really resonated with you, you can add that to your pitch too. Again, all in the mind of you doing research and you kind of showcasing that you're paying attention. But yeah, that, like for me, like when I did that, it took 5 minutes. I gathered all that information. And that is something that you can utilize to kind of look at what their business goals are, what their mission is, and then add to that, as opposed to just saying, I love your brand. This is me. This is what I do. You should pay me for that, right? That's just a very low level pitch. It's not really showcasing the skills, the research that you took, and why you guys should work together. So that's the first part. First part is meaningful content. How can you, having meaningful relevancy to the pitch. How can you find what's meaningful to them? By doing that research and finding those breadcrumbs online, okay? Next is aligned content. One of the major things that I don't see often enough, and it's where a lot of creators are lacking, is the content, right? And this is where kind of like the pre-work needs to be done. I don't think it's very smart for a creator to, if you are in beauty and you don't have any aligned content for a hotel brand, you don't ever talk about hotels, to then start go pitching hotels, right? That's just not really something you should do. You should be getting added like information or content on hotels. If you've already been to a hotel and you've shot content on your own, you've talked about it, you've gotten like a little bit of information to that. So a brand can see like, okay, this is aligned content. She's showcasing that she actually has done this before. Let me give them a chance, as opposed to just going cold. All you post is beauty, and then you're asking to partner with this hotel, right? There's no string that's attaching you guys together. So that's something that I think that is important. Just as much as I'm telling you to pitch, you need to post content that is actually relevant to the brand, and that is going to make them kind of pay attention to who you are and what you do and who you serve, right? And one of the ways that we do this, and the ways that I like to teach my clients, is something called a positioning campaign. You're positioning yourself to the brand, so they can envision you and say, we could totally love this person's content. I can see them doing this for us, right? And even vice versa, even if it's not the brand specifically, but a similar brand in that niche says, whoa, we like this. We want her to do that for us, or we want them to do that for us, right? It's a very strategic thing. I've done this for several years. And I just told my community on the Creator Collective that I strategically did this for my TikTok that I have. I do it because I love beauty, but one of the things that I did was once a week, I would make a positioning campaign. I've had TikTok for maybe a year. I have about 1,400 followers on there. I've made $25,000 just making strategic positioning campaigns, because brands see those videos and then they want to do Spark ads for them because they're, again, targeted to their particular demographic. They talk about the problem that they have, and then it has a really good call to action that's very specific to Spark ads or to whitelisting. And I created the content for free, but then I got money on the back end, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is that when you make a pitch, you want to have organic aligned content that the brand can look at and see your skills, see how you communicate your personality, and then how can they, again, envision that for themselves. So I'm going to give you a couple examples, right? So this is a video. I think I have my volume enough. I'm going to show a video, and then I'm going to tell you what the specific creator did, right? So we're going to just take a look at it.
Let's get into this glowy morning skincare routine using the Origins #1 ginseng
Sorry,
range.
guys. Let me do this really
This
quick.
range by Origins prides itself on having amazing active ingredients, including vitamin C, niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, and fruit-derived AHAs and BHAs. Each product in the range is super lightweight and very quickly absorbed, leaving my skin looking radiant, fresh, and glowy. So if you're someone that's struggling with duller skin and looking for something to just give your skin that lease of life, I would definitely recommend checking out this range from Origins.
Okay,
Let's
this
get this glowy
was
morning skincare
a free, organic, targeted piece of content Danny made. By the way, Kendra, Danny is a dermatologist, so she is a professional, but she's also a creator, and I feel like she's a good person for you to follow so you can see what she did, right? So that was an organic piece of content that then Origin said, hey, we like this piece of content, we want to work with you, and they utilized it for a Spark ad. What did Danny do specifically, right? So Danny targeted people who wanted bright and glowy skin. She called them out in the first part of the video. She calls out the range and what's so cool about the range. That's something also that I think is really important. Showing out stats, talking about specific things that's going to hit a particular demographic who likes and understands numbers. It talks about the texture of the product, because as a beauty creator, we want to, or just people who are beauty enthusiasts, we want to know what the texture is, showcasing what it looks like on her face, and then it's a great call to action, right? She did all the work for the brand already. They don't have to do anything else. They don't have to tell her to add something else. It's perfect the way that it is. And that's why she got paid to go ahead and get that for the brand, right? And that's why you want to add those particular examples in your pitch, because it just showcases how great of a creator you are. So again, not only can you pitch, showcase the research that you care about the brand, you're also backing it up with organic content that the brand can look at and say, hey, this is great. I think that we should take a chance and move forward with this creator, right? So I have a couple examples so you guys can just see what this looks like, right? So this is Jalen. I'm gonna check out what Jalen's looks like.
You guys are not gonna believe me, but the other day I went to do like a no makeup look. I was like putting concealer like around my dark spots, and I went to put some under my eyes, but I was like, wait a minute, I don't even need this because my under eyes were so bright. This is the eye cream that I've been using for the past couple months. This is the Vino Perfect Brightening Eye Cream from Caudalie. You guys, this gave me the confidence to skip under eye concealer. Like, that is monumental. I've been applying this morning and night since like August. If you struggle with dark circles, girl, you gotta check this out. And if you're looking to brighten your skin overall, you definitely need to get their Vino Perfect Serum. So good. I'm sad because I'm like out of both of these, but if you want bright, hydrated skin, this is the combination you need.
Okay, boom. Okay, same example, right? I gave notes for Jalen too. Great storytelling. So she just popped on and said, I was about to do this, it came into frame talking about this particular thing. Anybody who struggles with under eye, dark circles, like eye bags is going to pay attention to that. Like, okay, wait, you don't have to use concealer anymore. What is this product, right? She tied her confidence to an emotion, right? Within that video. And that helps people. And that helps people kind of see like, okay, this is something that she likes. You can tell not only from what she's saying, you can see it in her emotions, you can see it in the way that she's communicating. And she tied that emotion to the particular product. And then she did a really great job of not only talking about that one product, but also a like duo, right? Not only with the eye cream, but with the serum. And then she had another great call to action. Amazing on its own, doesn't need anything else. A brand could come back and say, we love this, Jalen, can you do that same thing for our eye mask? Or we like this, we're not that same brand, but I think that this could be another thing that we could utilize for you in our brand, right? Same concept, different way of storytelling, and they do the same job. This is, again, called a positioning campaign. There's two more that I want to get to. This is Leslie.
I was a skincare maximalist in this photo, piling on products that I thought would save my dry skin, but this is proof that using just 2 products can help achieve hydrated and bouncy skin. In the winter, I skip cleansing in the morning, rinse with water, and then immediately follow up with this ampule that has 100% centella. This is an ingredient that I love for soothing my sensitive skin, but it also has so many other benefits. I've gone through 3 of these Hialusika sunscreens. I realized that this is the #1 top-rated sunscreen in Huahe, and also the #1 Korean sunscreen on Amazon. I have a lot of requirements that sunscreens need to pass for me to love them, including easy to blend, no white cast, and a glowy finish, of course, and this one passes all of the marks. With the cold weather and how lazy it makes me, I highly depend on this glowing skin duo to give me this glow. I was a skincare maximalist in this photo, piling on products that I thought was...
Okay, same concept with Leslie, right? So she's calling out the people she wants to target. Lazy people who have messed up their barrier, but they need hydration, right? And it's tied in perfectly because it's wintertime. She also talks about why this is a good product by mentioning that this is #1 Hawaii and #1 in Korea for people who really, when you're looking at customers, you really kind of look at like who the customers are. People like to look at the texture. Why is it good? How, like, is this a standout product? And then also you kind of want to state what it would be good for. So with her sunscreens, people who like sunscreens that are glowy, that have no white cast, and that are going to plump the skin, she targeted all of those things and she mentioned it. It's not a feature, it's an actual benefit that you're getting for that particular product. And of course, she had a great call to action. Leslie's actually one of my clients, and she told me that she ended up getting a whitelisting ad with this brand after she made this organically. Okay, so again, that's the kind of mind frame that you want to look at. These are particular pieces of content that you are trying to target, and you're trying to, what I like to call, sell a brand, right? And this is why you're positioning that for them to see. And then even if they don't see it, you get to pitch it in a way that is relevant to you in the pitch that you're going to be sending them. Lastly, I'm going to do the last one, and then we're going to talk about the next part. And I know we're coming up on time, but I want to make sure that we get through everything. This is Giselle. Let's see. Oh.
Is damaged. That is not a breakout. That is just my skin barrier screaming for help. When I'm dehydrated, the little fine lines are just way more visible. My skin has been amazing for the longest time now, and I have to thank this. It's the Snail 96 Mucin Power Essence by CosRx, and I swear by this. It locks in that moisture and keeps your skin hydrated. This is legit like Botox in a bottle. This is how my skin looks like when I'm dehydrated.
So shorter, sweeter to the point, same thing. Giselle is calling out a problem that she had. She damaged her skin barrier. Then she told you what the solution was. It was the Snail Mucin by CosRx. How she used it, what she did to apply it, and letting you know that's basically Botox in a bottle, which is kind of like a sneaky, again, call to action for people who are interested in that particular thing. So it's very formulaic. As you notice, there's a range of different qualities. Some of these are made for TikTok, some of these are made for Instagram, and you could tell they understand, these creators understand what type of platform they're on to where they can utilize these different kinds of strategies to make these videos. And all of these are positioning campaigns for brands to see, again, to envision themselves in the, for them to envision themselves so they can work with them. So let me answer a question. I see a question. Ooh, okay. Okay, I've got a couple of questions. Sabrina said, I missed this one. I'm sorry, Sabrina. Oh, no, I got that one. Lydia said, hey, Flo, I missed the first 10 minutes or so, but regarding the NYX campaign, if I created content on those glosses and NYX responded on my TikTok, how can I reference that in a pitch? Okay, you created a piece of content for that in your content and they did respond. I would actually screenshot that they responded in the actual pitch. Hey, your community manager actually responded to this, letting me know that you guys enjoy my content, right? And then target it more with whatever that you're trying to do with the pitch. I don't know if you're trying to do maybe a lip gloss campaign. We can talk more about that, but adding screenshots and adding proof in this is actually the next part of the map process. So Lydia, you kind of, you added this to it. Shamika said, for food-focused content, would I give the benefit of the product, i.e. protein bars? So for that, yeah, I think that for people who are into fitness, they actually, for me, I'm getting back into my fitness. I want to know how many grams of that protein bar is in it. How do you utilize it in a day? What is your step for benefits? Maybe for the protein bar, as you guys, or as you probably know, Shamika, sometimes protein bars are not tasty, right? So you want to point out, how does it taste, right? How much is it? How much did you get in a particular box? You know, for six bars, I only paid $3, right? And you can kind of break it down. That's only 56 cents a bar or something. So kind of adding those particular things is going to help a person who is looking at purchasing that particular product. Does that make sense? Let's see. Lydia said, I would like to see more creators who are over 40. Girl, that's an amazing angle for a pitch, right? That's very true. That there is such ageism in the beauty space. So that angle right there alone could actually really help. And again, just adding in those small anecdotes, not only from your aligned content, but from, again, the next part that we're going to be talking about, which is the authenticity or authentic. I can't even talk today, y'all. Authenticating your pitch, right? So this is where you're going to be showcasing to the brands how you got results. And this is what you're going to be doing through case studies, right? There are two ways to do a case study in a pitch. One way is through bulleted text, like I'm showcasing here. And then you can also, my personal favorite, because I'm more visual, I like to embed a photo. So for example, this example that I'm showcasing here is here is how I helped X brand achieve results. Case study for X brand for a winter campaign. 45 lip clinks and it got $1,200 in sales. Lifetime views of 67,000 and counting on my TikTok. create a UGC so you can so they can use it on their social channels. The other way is to just show a screenshot and then add a message. So here are results generated organically for deodorant brand Saltaire. I'd love to help bring more reach to your deodorant so your ideal customer can get the unique, or to give the unique formula a try. So I showcase the video analysis of what I got, right? So I got organically 30K views, 700 likes, saves, all that good stuff. Brands want to see that, right? They want to see what kind of reach, what kind of impressions, how you can bring brand awareness for that particular thing. Let me see here. Kendra said, you mentioned having different strategies for different platforms. How would you know what works best for each platform? Trending audio. You have to be a native user of the platform, right? So for TikTok, there are tons of things. A lot of trends work for TikTok. If you are an avid TikTok user, really now it's more longer form content that's kind of showcasing, more day in the lives, or just kind of small, like doing like a little bit of inserting. Also talking head, which is something that in the industry is utilized, but just talking to camera, like FaceTime kind of content works on TikTok. Instagram, a little bit different, more aesthetic, right? Instagram is still a place for visuals and elevated visuals. So for Instagram, you're not going to get the same translation. Longer form videos don't really work on Instagram. Only if they're very educational and you're really doing like good like transitions and making sure people are highly attuned to it. But no, like the 30 seconds or shorter, if you're doing like an ad for a particular brand, if you're doing something that is going to maybe showcase texture or try to kind of bring in your followers, you're going to want to do something that's really short. So there's just different things. Longer form content for YouTube, right? YouTube, if you really want to, and this is the tea, if you really want to understand how people are kind of looking at reviews, it's always YouTube. People are going to go to YouTube first. For millennials, Gen Z is going to go to TikTok. So this is just kind of overall knowledge of your industry and understanding where certain things go, right? If you are trying to particularly target maybe people who, again, I said reviews for YouTube, blogs are really great for reviews, especially for travel. People are going to look at where their destination is and they're going straight to a blog post, right? Or straight to a YouTube video. So just understanding the industry. Let me see. Sabrina said, do you recommend embedding images or attaching images? I've heard a lot of corporate companies with block those emails from unknown addresses. Yeah, so that's a great thing to mention, Sabrina. It's all embedment. I don't like attaching. As you said, if there's more than 2 links in an email, it's going to go straight to spam, right? And you don't want to put yourself up for failure at the start. So that's why embedding for me is most important. And attachments aren't really necessary. I don't feel like they are going to really move the needle for a brand because, again, your first pitch, they're not. The way that I want you guys to think about it is to make it as easy as possible for the person to know you. Don't make them chase and then have to link out somewhere else. That's annoying. And they're not going to want to do that, right? Unless they ask for it specifically. Put everything in that email. So embedding photos. And then lastly, the last part of this, because we got to wrap up in a little bit, but I want to share it with you guys. Last part of this is to perform. So what you actually are going to suggest needs to be easy for you to perform. You don't want to give your ideas and make your ideas so outlandish. And if they say yes, you can't do it, right? So example, I'd love to help you create X brand, create 3 short form videos. Here are they below, ... right? Then here is an example of what this looks like. So we were talking about NYX, right? Because that's the example that we were kind of sharing. Here is an example of what this looks like. And before we leave, you guys will get a nice little understanding of what subject lines are, because subject lines are probably the most important thing in your pitch, okay? So let me just talk about this really quick. Hi, Lisa. Game Out Loud campaign 2024, ? Hi, Lisa. Saw that your NYX promoted the Game Out Loud campaign last June to target anti-bullying for LGBTQI+ community. I was wondering if you were able to promote this year. I'm Sarah. I'm a beauty creator behind the personal brand, Sarah Smiles. This is all made up, by the way, y'all. I don't know who Sarah Smiles is, just based off of a song, where I help women gain confidence by mastering their makeup routine. This particular subject resonates with me because many of my family members are gay and I want to stand for allyship and community. I would love to partner with you. Here are the ideas I have. This is very specific. So as y'all remember at the top with the research, creating characters, this is for their own characters. I'm tying it into something very specific. Okay, so this says, recreate my favorite game character with NYX. I keep saying NYX. Why am I doing that? NYX. NYX products that align with the character's climate. Her name is Lilith, and she is in the Borderlands series. One of my favorite games, and this is how it kind of aligns. The climate is desert, so using products to hydrate and make makeup last is the goal to achieve with Hydra Touch Primer, Bear With Me Concealer, Marshmallow Setting Spray. These are all products that are going to help you hydrate and help you help your makeup last with NYX products, right? I will direct my audience to the NYX Allyship Training quiz on your website and create a short form video for you to promote in the coming months to promote the new Borderlands movie that's coming out in August of 2024. Will this continue to propel you forward into pop culture entertainment, right? So if you've noticed with NYX, they're partnering with Cardi B, they're in a lot of, they're always like hip on things, Coachella, all the things. This is in complete alignment with not only their brand of makeup, their actual activation for the LGBT community, and also gets them into pop culture, which is something that they want to continue to move forward. How do I know this? If you go to that press release that we looked at, that was one of the top things that they said. We want to continue to move forward in pop culture. So in this particular idea, I hit all 3 points for NYX, right? So I'm telling them this idea. Then I'm going in and telling them how I achieve this for Maybelline. Again, y'all, this is all made up, but I'm just showcasing to you what a proper pitch looks like. I did this for another beauty brand, Maybelline, to achieve results. Maybelline is just another competing drugstore brand, and that's gonna kind of pique the interest of NYX, right? 200 clicks, lifetime views of this. My video is ranked top 3 in the last 3 months for the particular Maybelline campaign, right? Are you free Thursday at 2 p.m. to talk more about this, Lisa? Your call to action for your pitches need to be very specific. This is where a lot of creators get it wrong. They will, and how many of y'all have done this? I'd love to know if this is something that interests you. Look forward to hearing from you soon. What makes you feel as though that they're going to want to actually email you back with that kind of call to action? It's not specific. There's nothing that's targeted to them. But when you say, are you free Thursday at 2 p.m., they can look in their calendar and be like, no, I'm not, or yes, I am. And then you're adding a part of the pitch is very important. You're adding their name, right? This is a psychological trick that actually helps them really look at this email and say, I want to respond. Notice that I also did this, in the subject line, right? You're going to want to add their name there. It's something that psychologically happens. Again, anytime I don't add a name into the subject line, it doesn't perform as well. And this is something that I've seen over the years. And it's something that a lot of directors have confirmed with me. When I see my name, it more so feels like I know this person, and it makes me want to click their email, okay? So bottom line is your pitch really needs to either do 2 things. It needs to be the direct solution to the problem that brand has, or you need to do your research and align and identify with the meaningful things and the mission that brand has, because then they're going to want to explore different things with you. When you give them a pitch that is all about you, has nothing to do with their services or their products, you're going to always be unread because it's not something that they want to see, right? And what I like to kind of talk about this is you're trying to bridge the gap. The value that the brands kind of see, the value that you can bring is one thought process that they have. They have no idea what value you bring. So your job when you pitch and you pitch consistently is for you to then understand and let them know the value you can bring so you can bridge the gap in between their thinking, their beliefs that they have of what you can do and what you could actually do. Okay. And like I said, you do that with the 3 points. It's 3 things that I feel like are really important. Sometimes you're going to get a referral, right? Maybe you are seasoned in the industry like Sabrina, and she has creators that have worked with brands that she wants to work with. Maybe she can ask them, hey, do you mind sending over this email for me and forwarding it to them? I know that you've worked with them and I'd love to get my foot in the door. That's the best kind of experience that you can do, right? Because the brand already knows this particular person, they trust them, and they trust that they are going to bring them good quality creators, right? That's the first thing. The second is details and relevant experience, right? Just like above, case studies are added into that pitch. You can remove the case studies. Maybe you want to do testimonials instead, right? So that could be something. You add a testimonial from your previous partner, or a combination of both. Or you're giving them free value like we also did above, where you're giving out ideas of what could really move the needle for their community and move the needle for Knix. Ideally, your pitch is going to have all 3. Sometimes it's not going to happen. Sometimes you don't have a referral and this is just a brand new brand you want to reach out to. That's okay. You'll have your case studies and you'll have your ideas. So again, going from above, the value the brand believes you have and the value that you can actually bring, you're bridging the gap with your pitch and the consistent pitching that you do, okay? Let me see here. Kendra said, oh wait, hold on. You guys are the best. I have so many questions. Sabrina said, oh no, I got that one, sorry. Kendra said, so if you don't have yet these amazing stats, results, and highlights previous performance, is this where the positioning campaigns come in? Yes. So it depends on, again, amazing stats. That's just one avenue, right? A photographer isn't really on social to showcase amazing stats. They have amazing work. So you want to, instead of putting stats, showcase a photo of what you've done, right? If you are a professional in your case, maybe you've done a video. Again, this is where the position campaigns come in. You want to add in the video or the screenshot of the video that you created, right? So the positioning campaigns are doing 2 things. Number one, it's going to help brands come to you in general because you're making good content, but in your pitch, it's just going to highlight that you care, you've done your research, you're actually a person that's organically posted about them, and you have some skin in the game. So absolutely, if you don't have the stats, add in the positioning campaigns so you can be top of mind for them. And like I said, ideally you have all 3. If you don't have all 3, that's fine. You just want to create a habit into pitching in this kind of manner. Patrick said, do you recommend any tools that help you see emails? We are going to do that. Patrick, today is only about pitching and getting a specific framework together. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about tools and how to find them. I've held y'all for long, but tomorrow, Patrick, we're going to do that. That's Tuesday's call. Let me do this last part in telling you the importance of subject lines and we'll head out. But as I said, you can have the most beautiful pitch and the most researched pitch, but if your subject line is trash, a brand is not going to want to pitch you, right? They're not going to want to open it. The ones that are trash are collaboration inquiry, which is the bulk of what a lot of branding managers and PR managers are seeing. It's boring, y'all. It's really boring. You don't want to do that. Or brand name in your handle. Unfortunately, brands do that to us. That's not going to work for them. They see so much of it all the time, and it's not something that's going to pique their interest. So here are examples that I feel like are really, really good examples for you guys to utilize. And like I said, don't worry, you guys don't have to screenshot these or anything. You're getting this replay after this. But here's an example of maybe one a UGC creator uses, right? So, hi, Haley, let's make beautiful content together, pointing out their name, pointing out the particular thing that she wants to do, creating content. You're not talking about stats. You're not talking about any of those things. Hi, John. Jenny recommended I reach out. So this is kind of pertaining to the above that I said, trying to bridge the gap between what the brand knows and what you actually can possess in terms of your talent. if you recommend or you're referred by a particular person that that brand has worked with, they're going to remember that. Oh, we love Jenny. Let me figure out and see what this person has to say. Okay. The next one is all about understanding, again, what a brand wants. This one says, hi, Penny, let's acquire more customers in Q2. Brands are really just, they want stats, they want return on investment. And if you are a creator that can help them get customers, you're a good creator, right? So adding in a subject line that particularly talks about that is going to get something that's going to get them excited to open that email, right? If you're a particular creator that does really well with affiliate links, if you have really good click links in your stories, in your YouTube videos, in your newsletters, these are the things that brands want to see. So you want to attach that into your subject line. And that's something that I like to call the trophy stat. What specific thing that you're good at, you want to add in that, right? You could switch that up. Instead of saying, hey, Penny, let's acquire more customers in Q2, you could say, hey, Penny, 700,000 impressions, or so I'm sorry, 700,000 beauty lovers ready to buy, right? That is going to make them be like, okay, hold on, who is this? 700,000, we need to figure out who this is. They have great reach, they have great impressions, right? So adding that into your subject line is going to make them open up that email. Next, hi, Jalen, let's grow your TikTok community. This is going to, again, pique an interest of a brand because you research that they just started their TikTok or they have nobody on their TikTok, right? That's going to get them to open up, okay, what do they mean? How do they know? Like, you did research, like, okay, let me open up this email, right? Another one that I love to do is creating custom campaigns for brands. Doesn't mean that, again, doesn't mean that they're going to utilize the campaign, but it is such a great story starter for you to create something that is uniquely them and that you took the time to do that. So Well Aging with Fur. Fur is a hair beauty brand. And this is just something I just made up, a Well Aging with them. So maybe they put out a particular serum, or maybe we're talking about how you take care of your underarms or whatever. So that could be something that kind of starts a conversation. And another thing about creating campaigns is that you want to make sure that the campaign has no uses of it. So just in case that brand says, yes, we want to move forward with that, they have a clean slate to utilize that hashtag. The next one, it says, hi, Valerie, let's continue our relationship in 2024. This is for all of your previous partners last quarter, last year, the year before. You want to continue those conversations with them, and that is a wonderful way to do that, right? To let them know, hey, we already have a relationship and I want to continue that in 2024, because so many creators get into the space where they work with one brand and then they don't follow up, they don't communicate with them, and this is a way for you to reignite that relationship. Lastly is a problem solution kind of subject line. Hey, Alex, dry skin relief to 30K eczema warriors. Specifically talking about dry skin, eczema, that's again, problem solution, and then plugging in your shiny stat, which is 30K eczema warriors, right? So that's kind of a more custom thing that you're specifically looking at for people who have eczema and targeting it to whether that's a lotion, a CBD balm, whatever it is, that will help them. I've held y'all for 14 more minutes, but I'm gonna stop sharing. I want to see if there's any questions that you guys may have, and go from there. But yes, today, again, all about the pitching process. Don't worry either. You're going to get templates. If you guys have not gotten into the Slack, go to Slack. I'm going to have resources for you. So you're going to get a kind of templated version of what we talked about in terms of the NICS template in Slack. You're also going to get a nice little like workbook, basically. If you are in a space where you're struggling of what your mission is, what your why is, and how you can pertain this to your pitch, that workbook is going to help you kind of understand how you can kind of tie those things together. Because I know some of you too just have a hard time articulating what you do. You can't come up with like maybe 1 or 2 sentences of what you do. So that's going to help you with that. And then tomorrow, all about the juicy stuff, all about how to actually find these brands' emails and where to find, how to kind of track them and things of that nature, because that's important as well. So if you guys have any questions, I'm free to do that. If you don't have any questions, we can go till tomorrow, but just want to leave it up just in case you guys had any stragglers. Everybody good?
One quick question about getting the emails opened. So I know you talked about subject lines, and I know you talked about like the case study and things like that. When you talked about like the case study as it relates to like a similar brand in a similar field, I know for like a lot of my campaigns, they require that I haven't worked with any competitors in like the last 3 or 6 months. So I'm almost afraid, and I feel like caveating it and being like, here's a case study from Maybelline. Don't worry, it was like 6 months ago, like would be weird. Like I'm almost wondering like how to best approach that when exclusivity is usually big in campaigns. And I almost feel like you might I could be shooting myself in the foot by doing that.
So let me try to rework what you just said in my own words. So basically, with a lot of the campaigns that you have a lot of exclusivity with them. So you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot by revealing a case study that has exclusivity attached to it. Is that what you mean?
No, I'm saying like so let's use the NYX example, right? So if I'm pitching NYX and I use a case study from when I worked with Maybelline, I think that might not work in my favor because NYX doesn't want to partner with anyone who has worked with another drugstore brand in the last 6 months. And I think saying like this case study is from a year ago, like just might be like, oh, well, you didn't work with them again. Like, oh, sorry, are you a them creator? Like I have that a lot. Like even when I worked with Home Depot, like I couldn't share a lot of the other brands, not just Lowe's, but like other home, like Delta or other home improvement ones. So I feel like we don't really know their exclusivity list, which is why like I get a little bit nervous with case studies because it's almost like showing what you can do for someone else is a little bit worrisome because what if that takes you out?
I mean, that's a fair thing to say. I think that the way that I think that could be beneficial for you to kind of gear towards it is maybe you say you don't maybe reveal the name, right? Maybe you just show the content and don't reveal the name just to showcase, hey, this is something that I am able to do. Because at the end of the day, again, when you get on that call, that's when you can kind of really flesh out, these are the things that I'm good at. These are the things that I feel like could be good for your brand and focus more on them. But the case study really is just a placeholder to showcase to them, this is what I can do. This is my influence. This is my impact. So if you feel more comfortable removing the name and just showcasing maybe some of the photos or just showcasing the insights that you have embedded, that might be better. But also to the flip side, personally, what I've seen in terms of working with competitors, they're always competing with each other. So if you see like, hey, I've worked with your competitor brands, and again, this is only my experience. You obviously have your experience. Some brands love that. Oh, you've already worked with them? Can you work with us? And we want to do a different angle, right? We want to kind of showcase something in a different space. And if your exclusivity is up, that's a perfect opportunity to do that. But if it's not up, then it would probably be best for you not even to pitch any of those brands in that specific category at all, because you don't want to be in a place where you're even moving into that and then getting messed up. Unless it's like, say if your exclusivity with that brand is coming to an end almost, maybe you're like 2 months out, then you can do it. Like, okay, I'm going to be 2 months out.
It's usually not that I'm in exclusivity with them. I usually don't do anything longer than 2 weeks, max 2 weeks on either end. So it's usually not me. It's that even like the brands on their side will be like, well, we don't work with anyone who we've seen has worked with a competitor in the last 6 months. Like, even though like legally I'm allowed to, they're like, no, we only want whatever. And you're right, not every brand does that. I think I come across them more often than not, which is why I wanted to ask.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's fair. You kind of, you swim in your specific lanes. And if you know specific things that you like, okay, I don't want to do that, maybe make a case study that's not that. Maybe you'd be a person that would be really good for testimonials instead, right? You don't have to add the person where the person worked at. It's like, hey, this is one of my previous brands working with a higher end home company, right? Or higher end beauty brand, right? And they just add what their name is and then add your stats, as opposed to putting out like, this is the specific brand I work with, Home Depot, and then putting out the whole thing. Because that could still be a way for you to showcase, this is my influence, this is my impact, without putting out like, okay, here's exclusivity for this brand, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions?
I posted one in the chat. I'm not sure if
Oh, did I not? I'm so sorry, girl. I'm so sorry. I'm just talking my butt off. Kendra said, um, if you've worked with a brand before, but you lowballed your rates in the past, can you reach out to them to continue the relationship with updated rates? Absolutely. Absolutely. Here's another thing about influencer marketing. I think that we have probably one of the most volatile turnarounds ever. I have so many contacts that go from one place and then they'll reach out, "Hey, I'm now at this new brand, love working with you, let's kind of collaborate, whatever." And there's also the flip side where they just have a new person, right? And this is your opportunity to now just update your rates with them. Also, have the confidence and just know that you have grown. You've grown in your expertise, you've grown in your following, you've grown in the way that you communicate with your audience. So if they even press you and say, "Oh, these were your rates before," yeah, that was my rate in 2021. It is now 2024. Okay. And these are my rates now. And this is something that I feel like is so important with creators, is that every year, at least 15 to 20%, your rates need to go up due to inflation. Our cost of living just goes up every single year. So your rates should not be staying the same. So I encourage all of you to, if you haven't done so already, please do that. And if you ever need help with communicating that, I'm your girl. No problem. All right, ladies. If you guys don't have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. Again, I'm so sorry for holding you for a little longer. I will be uploading this to our Slack channel. So if you have not updated or signed up, go ahead and sign up. And in there, you're going to get your workbook and all the other templates for today. And I will see you tomorrow for getting your pitches together. Also, homework for all of you. Go into the Slack. Make your pitch, because this is, again, this workshop is not just me talking to you. You have actions that you need to display. So go into your Slack tonight and submit a pitch to your other creators and just see if they have any feedback for you. And then submit a pitch to me if you feel comfortable, because on Wednesday I will be going over, I'm sorry, not Wednesday, tomorrow, after we talk about your different contacts you can find, I will be doing a live audit of somebody's pitch. Okay. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow.